Cancer, I'm here to get you some messages from Spirit where we dive into the energy and play on your path and see what guidance wants to come through for you about the way to best align with your purpose and the direction that you're meant to step into now for your empowerment on your path and in your life. And this is for any significant Cancer placement: Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, Mercury, Mars, Saturn, Pluto, a fourth house placement that's prominent, or if you are Capricorn rising, that makes you a Cancer descendant. And you will likely find a lot of resonance with these messages. So let's just dive in and see what guidance does Spirit have for Cancer at this time. What does Cancer need to know at this time, Spirit? What messages do you have for Cancer at this time? And I'm working with several oracle decks combined here, so it's a real big deck. I have to work with this in a different way, but we have magnetism of arrows. Ooh. So I think you feel the pull of somebody that you feel very drawn to. And I think if you haven't had this person come into your sphere yet, they're on their way. You might actually be tuning into this internally. You might be feeling the pull of somebody coming back into your sphere, maybe even from a past lifetime. I got this. Like, I feel like whatever feels like it's coming in for you in terms of the other, it feels quite powerful. And I think there's this sense that this connection goes way back, maybe even spans over lifetimes, or you feel like you've known this person your whole life, but there's just a soul familiarity there. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get a baseline energy so we can really build this message from the ground up. Maybe you're wanting to build something from the ground up as well. You want to make sure that you have a good foundation in place for anybody new coming into your life, or any relationship that you're ready to take to a deeper level. You also want to make sure you're in a really grounded place. You're feeling very strong and secure within yourself. And there might even be some clearing you're doing in your root chakra, just clearing out some old energy so you can feel really like solid and stable and empowered in your own presence, your own energy, before you fully open up to this connection. But I think you're feeling this draw of this individual. Yes, and there might be a part of you that does feel like you have to shut that root chakra down. Okay, I am picking up there's a real strong energetic connection here, a magnetizing connection. So you may even feel like this energy taps in at your root, and maybe at times it feels like it destabilizes you a little bit. Okay, you might have been feeling a lot of action going on in the lower channels. I would say this could be an energy where you might even connect with this person on the astral. Maybe you've been feeling it come through in a very tangible way. All right, so there is a piece here about being mindful of how you're connecting on an energetic level with another too. Okay, you might need to ground a little bit. That's what I got. All right, there might be a need to sort of like ground your energy out, maybe put some boundary lines around this, especially if you're just sensing somebody come in and you're feeling it really like activated in your root. You might want to be aware of, just having some good boundaries, some good energetic boundaries, some good shielding, because you don't want to just let any energy tap in and, sort of siphon your grounding cord. That's not good. All right. 4:44 on the clock. All right. You may have even called in some angelic help around this. You may have been calling on Archangel Michael to help you do some shielding. This could also be the energy from somebody that you were connected to before, where you had a real like strong chemistry with each other. Maybe you connected on a sensual level in just a really intense way, where it was very easy to sort of get your energy entangled, corded into each other. Okay. You may feel like that link still exists. And so this could be something that you're actively working on. You might benefit from doing some extraction work, releasing some soul contracts, maybe really heading into that work in a more formal way. I'll put a link to a video that talks a little bit about that and how you can get that energy out of your energy body so you can really be in your own space. It's one thing to have agreements and come together in a certain way, but if you feel like somebody's just sort of like energy harvesting and just kind of like tapping into you whenever they want at their free will, and you kind of find it hard to resist because, well, there is a magnetism here. You might want to consider just putting some protection in place and be mindful of the ways that it can destabilize you. All right. So this just sort of coming in as a cautionary thing. You might also be feeling that, you got like a little bit of Kundalini activation happening. And it's also very important that if that's going on for you, you want to make sure that you're really grounded. Okay. Because when you get your first uncoiling of Kundalini, especially, it can like really blast open these upper chakra channels. And if you're not really grounded, if you're not really rooted, if that root chakra isn't, very stabilized, it can be destabilizing, So you might want to work with like kind of doing some earthing of energy, merging your root with the roots of a tree and just sending a grounding cord down into the core of the earth, or spending a little time walking barefoot on the earth, just getting really connected in that way. You could also work with some different grounding stones could be helpful, that are also protective or shielding. Obsidian is nice for that. Snowflake obsidian coming in pretty strongly. Black tourmaline is always a go-to. I'm also feeling honey calcite. Honey calcite is really excellent for just like clearing old energy out of the chakras. And it's actually clearing for all the chakras. You can use it along your whole chakra channel, okay? So there's something about that too, like also preparing for maybe an up leveling of energy. It could be Kundalini activation is sort of what wants to come through in this situation. All right, so let's see what else we got here. A little energy alignment needed. How light too, okay? Yes, we have Pearl of Sharo here. So I feel like you're moving into a very creative phase. I do feel like, look, there's that Kundalini rising. But see, there's this purification that happens first, too, energetically, before you can really get the Kundalini to rise. And so there might be a need to do sort of like a chakra cleansing. I'm feeling it really needs to begin at the root, though. We do have the Eye of Shiva there. So this is about the dichotomy of first there has to be the destruction, the dissolution of the old energy so the new creativity can take root and rise. I also got this piece here about needing to transmute some toxic energy that I feel is really corded into the root chakra. You may have even been, Ted just said yes, so you may have even been feeling this disruption of stability happening within your home, or happening within your finances, or happening within the family. These are all very root chakra oriented issues. You could have also been experiencing lower back pain or feeling like really locked up around your sacrum. So I also am getting this piece here that it would be very helpful for you to do hip openers, any kind of hip opening somatic exercises, hip opening yoga postures like pigeon pose. You can even do happy baby. You can do happy baby where you hold on your toes and like you get some movement going in it, where you let your legs stretch out one at a time, or hold them both open. This hip opener piece feels really important. May also be connected to the psoas. So psoas release might be something you want to look at. A lot of psoas release is done somatically, and you'd be surprised if you can just get into like a somatic posture, like work with somatic exercises while breathing really deeply down into that root, down into your pelvis, like visualizing the breath going down there. You'd be surprised how much just using your breath in a focused way can cause a true letting go of the psoas. And they call this psoas the spiritual muscle. It holds a record of all of the experiences we've been through, our traumas, especially related to intimacy, root chakra issues, sacral chakra issues, issues around empowerment, personal empowerment with Manipura, the solar plexus chakra there. Ted seems to like this idea. He thinks it's going to really free up your energy and open up these lower channels so you can move into this expansion that wants to rise in you. I feel like your chakras are needing to be cleared out, the lower channels specifically, of some old trauma energy or some old energy that's still kind of like corded in. And in some cases, you still have a link to it that you can't deny. You also feel a little magnetism there. So it's hard for you maybe to, you know, put down some boundaries, some energetic boundaries in regard to this. But I think it's really important that you do, because there's something that needs to be transmuted here, that's blocking your creative flow. It's blocking the creative flow of your energy. So anything you can do to get more rooted would be very, very helpful for you at this time. Even if it's just like putting your feet in, you know, a foot bath with maybe some grounding herbs and some sea salt. You know, that can be another way that you can sort of like ground out your energy, and you can visualize, you know, yourself shooting your grounding cord down into the core of the earth. You don't even necessarily need to be outdoors in nature to do that. But it can kind of like just sort of purify your energy a little bit, get you a little more stabilized. All right. I don't know why I felt like shuffling this deck a little bit more. I think you got to like mix the energy up. It's like there's something that's kind of like it's in a stuck pattern in the body, and it's like tapped into the root. All right. And I do think you're dealing with root chakra issues at this time too. And I feel like as you start to address this and you get more grounded, you're going to see a lot of that free up. Like your finances will improve. Your sense of stability will improve, your sense of security, safety. I also feel like you'll feel more at home, not just at home, but in your physical body as well. Yes, free from judgment, free to love. Okay. So, especially in the case of trauma, like old trauma that you're holding, or this could even be trauma related to the family when we're looking at root chakra issues. There may be this piece where you felt like a lack of belonging, or like you're not understood, or that, you know, in some way you don't have the freedom to love because it doesn't feel safe to love. You know, there's something about moving old energy out where there still remains an energetic connection to somebody you were with in the past. And this is somebody that maybe made you feel very judged, or maybe you didn't feel totally at home and comfortable in your body with this person. In some way, it just didn't feel safe for you. And this is about unlocking all of that that's held you in sort of like a stuck pattern with this. So you can really be free to open up in a totally like uninhibited way and just be in this place of just sweet release and connection, and able to really feel safe within that space of opening yourself up to the experience. Okay. It's very interesting. There's a lot coming in about intimacy for the collective right now, and creating the right kind of experience around that where it feels like it's respectful, and where there's just a certain level of safety around vulnerability and opening up to the experience. Okay. And I'm going to do one cut over here. We're going to set this side of the pile aside so I can get your kind of closing card. But we're going to shuffle with these here and see what else does Cancer need to know right now, Spirit. What does Cancer need to know right now, Spirit? I got breath of fire could be very beneficial for you. They also call that Kapalabhati. It's skull shining breath, so it helps to like open up the crown too. So yeah, a lot of you might be dealing with, you know, Kundalini rising experiences. It can be pretty wild, you know, when it first comes in. especially if it's your first uncoiling and you're not familiar with it. Sometimes it first comes in with what I like to call the slows, okay? So it feels like first everything becomes kind of bogged down. You might need more sleep. You just are kind of like low energy. It sort of feels like you're moving through molasses, you know. The dream life gets very active, and then it can move into even like visionary experiences where you start to get a lot of downloads and maybe even have, in some cases, clairvoyance start to open up, or you just feel like your dream life becomes extremely active, or you get a lot of messages in your dreams. You find yourself lucid dreaming more frequently. You might want to keep a dream journal just to see what insights are coming through. Because a lot of times what happens is before it can rise, a lot of your old subconscious stuff and trauma loops and everything that could really block the channel needs to be purged from the system. And so it is sort of like letting go of this like old, like toxic load so you can really open up to the experience. So there might be something here you want to look at in regard to this. I do think you're finding your balance with this. And I think it's about the bridging point, okay? I think the root needs to be more stabilized, but there's also like something here about the power center needing some focus so the energy can really rise up into the heart right now. It's interesting because I feel like your heart is open, your heart is ready. I mean, notice this here, like the energy is very big around the heart, okay? I think you're a person who has a lot of love in your heart and you want to express it. You want to share it. 1711 on the clock. But the problem is here is that there's this lack of feeling of empowerment in it. And I think that's old stuff that's still corded into you here. But you know, you want to bring the energy up into the heart center, okay? Because the heart center is what moves you into the higher states of consciousness. Then the transformational energy can rise up. And I see here like you're ready for it, like your crown is really activated right now. All right. But the thing is once you go through the slows, you can go through this experience where when the Kundalini is first awakening, it can feel very like sensual. It can feel very sensual. And there can be a tendency to stay stuck there, like focused on the root. And you don't want to do that. The energy is meant to like rise. So something you can do that can kind of help that is work with the breath. So if you start to feel this energy rising in here and it doesn't feel connected to somebody, you know, corded into you, I encourage you to like just start focusing on your breath and visualize the breath bringing the energy up to the next chakra up, your sacral chakra, okay, right at your navel, and then breathing it up to your solar plexus, and then breathing it up to your heart. And you can do it as a visualization, but you want to really focus on third eye, you know? It's sort of like you're pointing the energy to where it's supposed to land, you know, no, come up here, come up here. Right? It can help. It can help move it if it's getting kind of stuck there, right? But the breath work can be very helpful. I just feel like you just need to balance things out a little bit more because it's interesting. I feel like a lot of your upper channels are more open and ready for the expansion, and it's your lower channels that are blocked, right? So you need to really work on the power center. You need to work on the sacral chakra, you know, your creativity center, your sensuality center, also working on that root chakra, just getting really grounded. And I think the more you do that, the more you're going to find the balance coming in that makes this very easy. Yes, and it says beyond the mind, the heart beats. Okay. So I do feel like something is awakening in you right now. And it's the beginning of sort of like calling yourself back home to inside of yourself. I feel that. It really feels like coming home to yourself and really being in this place of embodiment, like really in your body, owning your own energy instead of like giving the reins over to somebody else. You really being in full ownership and mastery of your energy. And it's like something is almost being activated in your DNA right now. Some of you relate to being star seeds, you know, you feel a real deep connection with this, okay? It's like some memory is being awakened in you. And I think there's also a lot of intuitive, information coming through corresponding with this that's going to guide you toward a direction that you need to head in, where you're going to find a lot of fulfillment. It's like this is something that you came into this life with. It has this vibe of like you're about to activate your purpose. And for some of you, this has to do with something that you're meant to write, something you're meant to share, okay? You might be getting this download from your ancestors. This might have something to do with some healing process you've been through in your family. There's some story you want to share here. For some of you, you want to share something really out there. It's related to feeling like a star seed, your star seed connection, or I got something about indigo children, okay? This coming through, it's some creativity that wants to be expressed and it wants to be written. The word wants to be written. So I feel like this is something that might first come in through, you have this Kundalini awakening experience. It clears the channel of all the old stuff that was blocking this download from coming in. And then there's some kind of musing inspiration that comes in and it wants to be written. It's meant to be shared, because whatever you write here, it has the ability to spark transformation in others, and also has the ability to transform your life. You may even be asked to step into a position of being a teacher and sharing this with others, okay? There's something about writing down the experience. So I would definitely be keeping a dream journal at this time, and anything that comes through for you in visions, like just jot it down, even a few words. I think that it will really clue you into something significant. There's some kind of creativity awakening in you. And really, when we look at Kundalini, ultimately, that's what it is. It's the creative life force energy, all right? So whatever comes through here and ignites this vision for you, once you get this crown lit, this is like, it's got far-reaching effect. I got like butterfly effect. It reverberates out and it has the ability to create transformation. I think it's something you're supposed to teach people about, how to transform grief, and loss into a beauty and joy. There's some kind of healing you offer in this regard, all right? Has something to do with the written word. And I just got that there might be somebody from your past that you feel like you need to express something to, but maybe you've been hesitant to reach out because it might have been a really unhealthy connection. It might be good to do that in a written letter, You don't ever have to send it if you don't want to. And in fact, you can release it. You can release it if you wish. You could even mail it to yourself, which could be interesting, just to see how it feels to receive those words, from yourself down the road. Maybe you can wait a while before you send it to yourself, write out the letter, put it in envelope, seal it, don't put a return address, just, address it to yourself. And then, in a little bit of time, mail it to yourself so you can open it and receive it. There's something about receiving it down the road, like sending it to yourself, almost like your former self sending you a reflection of where you were at, because I feel like whatever you're stepping into now, you're about to go through a major transformation. I mean, it's like an identity shift. And it's something about transmuting an old pain and it bringing some kind of creativity forward within you that's meant to be shared, that can bring a lot of healing and transformation, not only in your life, but it has a ripple effect. It touches the lives of others, okay? Let me see what I got here on your cut of the deck. Against the grain, okay? Swimming upstream, all right? This is really a beautiful energy. So yes, I feel like this is that transformational energy that wants to rise in you. It wants to rise to this place of freedom. But first you have to kind of like clear the channel, because right now the energy is trying to rise and it's moving against the grain. There's blockages. So do some work, like tune into some videos that will support you in like attuning the solar plexus chakra, manipura, attuning sacral chakra, svadhisthana, attuning root chakra, manipura, and not manipura, I'm sorry, muladhara. I feel like that's where the focus needs to be. This stuff looks good. It does. It really looks good. But when your lower channels are kind of like blocked up and the flow isn't there, it can create a lot of blockages in your material reality, because that's what your lower chakra channels deal with. They deal with the day-to-day, experiences. They deal with, your finances, your personal safety, your family, your house and home, your sense of confidence, your sense of personal empowerment, your ability to create new avenues for you to explore in your life, to bring new beginnings into your life. Okay, so if you've been encountering a lot of blockages, it's because you are blocked in your lower chakra channels. So there's lots of chakra attunement videos out there that you can check out. I have a few that I've recorded that are in the medicine bag playlist, so you might want to check those out, and I'll put some of those links too in your comments, just so you can explore a little bit and have some support that way. But you can branch out. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful sound healers on YouTube that it's amazing how much you can shift just dropping in with one of those sessions. But I feel like once you move this energy, you're just moving into this freedom of expansion. And there's so much that's going to come through for you. It's going to open up a whole new avenue in your life. And I believe it's an avenue where you're meant to step into a new role. You're meant to share something with others. You're meant to teach others something. And it's been about your personal healing experience and some wisdom you get through this. And it sounds like it wants to come through the written word. So don't hesitate, you know? If you have this inspiration, just put that pen to paper and allow whatever wants to come through, come through. Let it be sloppy. Let it be, imperfect. That's okay. Rough drafts always are. But the more that you write, the more you'll find, that there's more downloads coming in. And I feel like that will also clear the channel and help you really root this manifestation.